Hey there. Welcome to Millennium Milestone Presents, a site dedicated to storytelling in books, movies, video games, and other exciting genres, where 6-7 is 6-7, 6-7 is 6-7, 6-7 is 6-7. Oh, come on. You know it's trending. You know it. Come on. Damn it. Moving along. So it's been a long minute since I posted, and there's no time like now to review Predator Badlands, a 2025 science action film about a young predator warrior named Deck, who is cast out by his clan for being too weak. He forms an unlikely alliance with Thea, a damaged whaling Utani synthetic from the Alien franchise, and together they embark on a perilous journey to confront the monstrous Kalisk, a creature that even the feared predators avoid on the hostile alien world of Jenna. They must survive dangerous flora and fauna and face other threats, including another synthetic sister of Thea's, in their quest for honor and survival. And survival seems to be the operative word when it comes to these films. There have been a total of 9 movies in the Predator franchise, including 2 crossover films with the Alien franchise. After Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, there have been 3 movies produced, starting with 2022's Prey, 2025 the animated film Killer of Killers, and now Badlands. To sum up my feelings for this film, let's start with the visuals. For starters, the extraterrestrial worlds look authentically foreign. You do feel like you are out of this world. Even the CGI creatures are decent, fearsome, and dangerous. However, and this is my first complaint for the film, the Yautja are maybe the biggest problem thus far. To explain, let's look at an iconic character that sums up fear, intimidation, and dread. That's none other than Darth Vader. From his music, his entrance, to his appearance, to the vibe he gives off, Darth Vader commands a presence of fear and respect. Deck, the main character of the film, does not even come close to fear and respect, let alone dread. While Vader is typically a villain, so is the majority of the Predators in the previous films. By making this Predator the main character, you lose that important part of what makes the franchise iconic. While I am aware that certain books and comics have delved into the culture of the Yautja, it was not the primary focus of the early films. To do that takes away some of the mistake that these iconic characters had for many years.
I mean, what happened? Your balls drop off? Hmm?
That might be part of the problem, and to sum that up a little better, look at the type of genre this is in comparison to the previous films. This movie is labeled action adventure, not a sci fi action horror. Emphasis on the word horror.
You won ugly.
When the horror part is taken away, you're left with a hollow version of an iconic franchise. No horror equals no Predator. What you have instead is a remake of an even more awful take on the survival space genre, After Earth, a movie that did really nothing to move the needle in Hollywood. Don't believe me? Then to add insult to injury to a franchise that had done more rebounding than scored shots in the box office, you throw in again another cross storytelling trope of that of a synth from the Alien franchise starring Dakota Fanning. How original. Her character is essentially used to guide Deck, who apparently doesn't know nothing about survival, even though he's been among Yautja all his life and done survival training for quite a number of years. But nope, the girl boss trope is thrown in here just a bit, not heavily, but just enough to roll your eyes quite a bit, where Dakota knows everything about the planet and Deck knows absolutely nada. Now, I am entering into spoiler territory right here, so this is your one and only chance I'm telling you to click away if you don't want any details to be spoiled to you about the film. But here we go. Now, another aspect of the film that does bother me about it is that, well, the main objective is Deck to hunt down Icalis, a fabled creature that is basically their Moby Dick for their lore. This is a great idea on the surface, and I get the obsession behind it. However, it's kind of muddled by some other story tropes that doesn't quite help it out, starting with a cuddly little character that shows up midway through the film where they're on a hunt for another creature just for food, and they befriends both Thea and Deck in their adventure to kill this other creature that they're hunting for food. What turns out to be, a Grogu type character ends up spoiling a good part of the film where we find out it's the baby of the very creature that Deck is trying to hunt.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
And to add some more stupidity to this film, you of course have even more sense in this, specifically Tessa, who turns out to be the identical quote unquote sister to Thea, even though they're synthetic machines, keep that in mind. And their objective, of course, is they also want the cummies as well. So, of course, it's a race for both sides to get to this creature and bring it back for as their trophy. Now, I'm not against female villains in movies. It has been done, and there are successful villains out there that are female, but this one is about as bland as raw steak. It just does not have a good taste in my mouth whatsoever, this particular character. All she basically is a synth that just leads a group of other synths to hunt down this creature and doesn't show any type of intimidating factor whatsoever. No horror, no intimidation, no nothing, no presence in the film. Now, there isn't to say that there aren't interesting moments in this film that kind of create some intrigue. For instance, you do have going with Thea and Tessa the conflict of loyalty here. And even going back to Dak, there's conflict of loyalty too from his perspective with his family. Who are they loyal to? Who is their real tribe or clan in this case that they are loyal to? And this is tested in this film quite a bit. However, I do feel that Tessa kind of takes away anything that's authentic with Thea, and maybe the two characters should have been merged as one singular character that has to test her loyalty to the Utani Corporation. And it would have been interesting, and again, this is just one aspect of what could have been done to improve the film, is that maybe Thea simply has an ulterior motive the whole time and betrays Deck. And this teaches Deck to not trust anyone. Now, is that something that would have been appealing to a Disney property? Probably not. But as intriguing as a story, yes, it would be. Then the other issue of this film is that there aren't any real stakes here. For instance, Thea is a synthetic machine with memory that could be stored away and plugged into another machine, theoretically. Then, if you go to Deck, yes, he has his honor to gain from hunting this beast down, but he could have made the choice to just be a nomad and not even do it at all. So again, these are not high stakes that really invest anyone in either character in that way. And then let's come back to Deck. Already, my biggest problem with Deck is that he's labeled the main character of the film, and his entire dialogue in the film is all subtitled. And while it doesn't take away anything from the film necessarily, it you do have a tough time relating to the character because you're cut off by that, and also by the fact that he's an alien to begin with. Now, has this been done in other films where that could have been done? Yes, there's quite a few that have been done that way, but there's some growth that allows for us to understand the character better, where maybe they learn the language, maybe somehow they can speak, which, again, these are not things I'm saying should be done with this character. In fact, quite the opposite. A predator is meant to be a creature that is terrifying and you dread to see coming your way. I don't see Deck in any way this way. Having him be this low level life form trying to move his way up the top of the food chain does not help. What could have helped him a little bit would have been a character that perhaps had similar stakes. And yes, I get it. Thea is kind of that character as a synthetic, but this is also not a character that I'm invested in because if she dies, she could be rebooted to another body. It's not like there's stakes standing in the way of her existing in this movie if something happens to her. You know, this is taking away one of the most important things of the Predator franchise, and that's the horror element. The possibility that someone that you care about in a character is not going to be there. You never feel that way for any of these characters at any given point. Even when we get to the conclusion of the film, where Deck is taking on Tessa in the iconic robotic suit that was used in the Alien 2 movie. Once again, do I believe that Deck is going to not survive this? Not necessarily, but you're not given any reason to believe he's going to die. Also, Tessa, you don't believe is going to overcome Deck in any way. So once again, this movie does nothing to make me invested in either characters. They're just bland, paint by number villains and heroes that does nothing for the Predator franchise in general. I honestly believe, and while I've not watched this film, that Prey is a far better movie than this, to be honest. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to give a massive L to this movie. It is bogus. It's not that great. It's got great visuals and special effects, but that's not enough for me to be sold on a film. You need to sell the story. And if you're not selling me a good story with horror, which is the most important part of the Predator franchise, then it takes a massive L. Well, those are my thoughts on the film. Maybe some of you have opposite opinions about this. I'm expecting that. I've already gotten quite a few comments for saying something very negative already about the film on both Twitter and Threads. But maybe you guys have different takes I need to take into consideration. Like, share, and subscribe, and maybe next time we'll have a different take on the Predator franchise with maybe a better movie. And you best better believe I'll be back.